Thanks everyone for coming back. Welcome to our course Learning Web Development. In this lesson, we'll be learning inline styling and CSS. Please subscribe to our video, like the video as well, and leave a comment. If you want us to get into more depth into something that we're shown today, please write a comment and we'll get back to you, reply or create a video. So without further ado, let's get back into it. Hi everyone, thanks for coming back. This is the fourth lesson for web development. So we're going to be talking about CSS, which stands for Cascade Styling Sheet. It's basically how you style your web page. As you can see, we've done it a little bit, a very little bit, with the borders around the div tags. But we're going to show you the different ways. Well, actually, one particular way for this particular lesson. We're going to different ways later on in the series of how you style the page. Today, we're going to be talking about inline styling. So inline styling, first of all, so how you style a page is use CSS, as I already said what it means, Cascade Styling Sheet. And in this one here, we're using it's called inline styling or inline CSS, which basically means you're going to put the style information inside of the tag. So this is why it's called inline styling, basically. This is not normally the best way of doing it. I'll show you another way of putting your styling or styling your page and linking it to your tags, HTML tags. But for now, we're going to be showing you inline styling because you can use it still. A lot of people still do, and I want to show you from beginner all the way to advanced ways of styling a web page, basically. So for now, we've got inline styling. So as you can see, we've got these borders. So let me just remove this and explain it from this one here. So here you have style, and that basically indicates, okay, you're going to style this particular div. So anything inside of this div here, this div here, is going to be styled by whatever you put in here. So for example, you can say background color, and color is spelled without the U for some reason, green. And what you have to do here, so what you notice here is put a semicolon. So here you say what type of styling attribute or do you want to edit, and then here you say what that attribute style will have. So for example, it could say green. You can say you want the font. You will say font here, for example, or it's called color, but I'll show you that in a second. And then you put the actual color of the font that you want. You could say you want the font size, so you say font size here, and then you put the colon, and then you say what size of the font. So you say 200 pixels, for example, and then you put the semicolon at the end. So this indicates this is finished. So let me just save this, refresh, and you can see that this whole section now is all green. So we changed it green. We can change it to pink. Save. And you see everything's gone pink. For example, if you want to change the font now, the font color, you don't actually say font, you just say color, which means in the web development world, you want to change the color of the font, and then you can say, for example, green. So again, remember you got the colon here, and then a semicolon here to indicate this is done. This is the start. This is the end. Yeah, this is the start of. This section is the thing you want to edit. This is what you want the style to be, and you can see. So you save, and you can see it's gone green now. Can you see that? It's gone green. Can make it go red, for example. Maybe the red will show a bit more. Yeah, showed a bit more. So you can see you can do lots of different things. There's lots of different styles you can do. For example, you can say, for example, this here, when you create text, it wants to go to the left automatically. So you can see the p tag is going to the left. The text inside the div is going to the left hand side straight away. If you want it to go into the middle, what you would say is text, and you can see it here. There's lots of different things here. You can play around with this. I'll show you again some of the key ones I use, but we'll go throughout the course. But if you want to change where the text is positioned, you go text alignment, yeah, semicolon, and then you have left, center, right. So you say center, semicolon, save, and it should go into this middle section now. You see, it's going right into the middle section. You can change it to go right. Click save, crash, and now it's gone to the right. See, and this is stayed the same. The p tag. This here is the div tag. So you can see, everything's gone to the right now. And as you can see, even this div tag, this red div tag here, so it's a div inside a div, it's also moved. So you can see this here is the red div tag, which is what we put in here, and it's also moved. So remember I said whatever the parent tag is, so as you can see, this div is what we call the parent tag to this, because all of this content is inside of this tag here. So whatever's inside of this tag here, between this gap here, is applied, the CSS that you created is applied to it. Okay. For example, you can then add different styling to this. For example, you can have this to say, for example, background color yellow, semicolon, click save, and refresh the page. What will happen is you can see it's yellow now. It has its own styling, so it did what it wanted to do. It didn't listen to the parent one. It this style overrid this one here, and that's because this tag has its own. This div tag has its own styling. If we remove it, for example, let me just show you. It doesn't override everything. So, for example, the text is still red. You can see. So it still is listening to this part of the outer div styling. So it's still red. You can see it's still red, and it's still alignment to the right. You see, it's still alignment to the right. If I said, for example, text alignment, so I just did a quick way, text alignment center, for example. So text alignment center, semicolon, remember, click save. Now this text here, once I refresh the page, will go into the middle. You see, went into the middle. So I'm basically overriding, this styling here is overriding whatever is in the parent tag, the one that's inside, outside of it, just outside of it. And so we need to understand. So now you understand that each tag within can have its own styling, and whatever is inside a tag, it gets inherited by the parent tag. But if you don't want the parent tag styling, you can also override it by changing the styling within this own tag, for example, as you can see here. There's loads of other things we can do as well. So, for example, let's change. Let's do padding. So, for example, let's just remove all of this. So we understand. By now we should understand about div tags and things like this. So I'll just put some random text in here to say this is a container. Let's do some styling. Just save. So refresh the page. This is what it's going to look like. Let me just move this so it's back to the left hand side. Ooh, sorry about that. So the text is back in. And so say now you want to make this box container bigger. Right now it's very small. So what you can do, for example, you can do multiple different things. So for example, you can say height. In fact, wait there. Let me show you something else. So width. Let me go to width first because width is something simple. So width, let's say 200 pixels. So pixels is basically almost like it's the internet browser way of like measuring things. So you'll be able to see it's talking about pixels of the screen basically. So if you click on save, remember a div always wants to go full width unless you change the CSS. So now we've changed the CSS, we're saying it's 200. So it's saying from here to here is 200 pixels. If I change the width again, make it 400 pixels, refresh, it's now 400 pixels. And it will always ever be 400 pixels no matter what I do. Yep. But say if I want to, you can do things such as, let me just remove this. I can say 50%. So 50%, when what that means is this div, remember this div is inside this body. So the body is the parent of this div tag, right? So the body, again, is always full width of the screen. Always full width for the page. So this is saying 50%. So what this 50% means, it means I want to be 50% of my parent, and my parent is the body tag, for example. So right now, if I click on refresh, this is now 50% of the whole screen. So from here to here is 50%. I could change this to say 30%. 30%. And what's good about this, no matter how small I create this, you can see the screen, the tag is actually getting smaller. Not the tag, the box container, sorry, is actually getting smaller. You can see that. It's because it's now shrinking automatically because it's saying this screen is getting smaller and I'm supposed to be 30% of this whole screen width. So this is what it's doing. If I did it bigger, because the screen is wider now, 30% of this whole screen means it's much bigger. So we go back here. As you can see, it's 30% now of this whole width, which is much bigger. So it automatically adapts to the screen width. And this goes on to making things responsive. And we'll get into that as well more later on, maybe in the intermediate lessons of styling and CSS. But just to show you what you can do, and just to prove, so we make this 50% as well, just to get your head around this a bit more. Let me just do this. We'll do 50%. We'll create another div. I'll just copy this quickly. We'll make this green. Make this green. Inner div. Click save. So this div here is inside this div, and again it's 50% width and it's green. So what you can see now, it's now 50%. This inner div is 50% of this one. It's not 50% of the whole screen. It's only 50% of this div pink tag. The reason why is because this inner div tag parent is this outer div tag. You see, this div tag is inside this div tag. So it means 50% of what this div tag is. So you can see this div tag here is this length, and so 50% is here, from here to here. So this is why, again, this div tag is this length rather than this length. And you can see again, everything shrinks. So this pink div tag is 50% of the whole screen. This green tag is 50% of the inner pink screen. So that's simple enough. Let me remove this. And then say you want to, let's remove this, hit save. Say now you want to make this the height even more. So for example, you can say height, boom, we can say 200 pixels, for example. Oh, don't forget the semicolon, save. So the height now, as you can see, it's much bigger. You see, from top to bottom, it's much bigger. So you can change the height of a div or a tag as well by putting the height attribute. But as you can see, the text is right at the top. Say you don't want the text right at the top. Say you want to have some sort of space between the top section of the your container, your div container, and the text. How do you do that? So this what you would do is something called padding. So you say padding dash top. So we're saying add the padding at the top, and you could say, for example, let's put 10 pixels. Save. And you can see now there's 10 pixels at the top, but you can see there's no padding on the left. So again, you can do this as well by saying padding dash left, and put 10 pixels here. Save. And then you can see it's put 10 pixels to the left, so there's space there. So, but there's another easier way to do that is by removing this and it's saying padding 10 pixels. So what that will do when you save that, for example, it will stay the same, but what it's doing now is saying I want 10 pixels and padding to the left, the top, the right, and the bottom. So that's what happens when you just put padding. It does it to all four corners, the top, bottom, left, and right. Because you can put padding bottom, you can put padding left, padding right, and padding top. For example, it's the same principle. But if you just put padding, it indicates to the web page you want padding on all four corners of that particular element. Okay, so we're gonna stop there. Please, we're gonna get in, subscribe to my channel. Our next lesson, we're gonna go into more depth into styling. In fact, we might even create like a page, because a good styled page, basically. Because at the moment, it's not looking like a web page. So let's actually make it start looking like a web page for and show you how it's done. So as we can go along, please again subscribe to my page and our channel, sorry, and let us know if you want us to go into more depth about something else. And yeah, that's it. Stay tuned, and please go to our next episode, which should be at the top right corner or down below. Cheers. Thank you. Bye.